So I will be talking about Android Layer 2.0 today. I work at Novoda in Berlin, and I am an Android developer expert. So the talk will be in two parts. Actually, that's what Android, the changes in Android Layer 2.0. So first of all, the navigation and actions are changed a lot, so we will talk about them. There are also behavioral changes in the notification, how they display the notifications that are coming from the phone and that are generated in the watches installed. And then there is a very cool one new API which is called complications. We will also look at that. So let's look at the navigation patterns that are new in the 2.0 version. So first of all, standalone apps. Actually, we had standalone apps from almost the beginning in Android Layer 1, but it was better limited. Now there's like full support of Android applications. In the latest version of the operating system, there is even a Google Play Store where you can install applications. And other than that, it has now the full capabilities of an Android device. Before the limitation was that it had to be connected to an Android phone, and most of the communication has to go through the phone. Now it can do whatever you can do in any Android device, development device. So it can connect to the network, even though it is the network goes through Bluetooth through your phone, or it doesn't matter. As long as you have the connection, you can use any network connection stack library you have in Android. So before, it was a necessity to have phone and the connectivity to the phone. Now it's not. So for example, the watches had Wi-Fi, but even though you are connected to the Wi-Fi, your phone has to be connected as well. So even though you have Wi-Fi, it was going through your phone again. So not just Wi-Fi, some watches have 3G as well now. So yeah, that is not a necessity anymore. And the user interface changed a lot. So material design for layer, they say. So in the material design specs website at Google, they have now a section for Android Layer, which is highly detailed. Android Layer was released while at the same time material design was released, and then it didn't change much. So it was not really 100% material design compliant, the current implementation. It also got darker, which makes a lot of sense and really makes a huge difference. Until now, the current operating system is mostly white. The backgrounds of the cards, alerts, everything is white by default, and we have colorful text. But it's really annoying, especially when you use it dark in a restaurant or in a dark place. It really gets annoying. It's like a candle. You have to turn it completely, but now it is mostly dark. Your brand color as the background and the texts are mostly white. And notifications change a lot. We will talk about that later. So this is a typical Android Layer standalone application. This is what the platform provides. Of course, you can write anything you want, but this is what they think of and what they provide in the support library. So you have the content view. This is the search circle is the watch face, and on top of that we have the actions coming from the bottom, and this we have a navigation drawer, which is really weird when you first think about that, but it actually makes sense. So let's look at the navigation drawer. The navigation drawer coming from the top actually is like a tab layout in Android. Like the implementation even is very similar. You have the content, and you provide different fragments or whatever to the adapter, and you provide the title and icon of every page you have, and it displays them automatically with the gestures and everything. So it peaks from the top. You can pull it from the top, and yeah, it is called variable navigation drawer. For more information, it's really similar to what we have for phones. Actually, the new Android Wear UI is really designed for gestures. So this is the only place where you cannot really use gestures. Because when you think of the gesture we have in Android Wear, you have like this and this back. So scroll up or forward and scroll bottom. And then this is select, and this gesture to the top is cancel. So it's really hard to do the horizontal swipe with gestures. So this is the only place. So it was really based on horizontal swipes before. Now it's not anymore. So this is the only place we have now horizontal swipe, and this is something we don't change so often. This is the main parts of your application, and most of the application doesn't even have this. So since the Android Wear implementations are much more limited than what we have in our phone, so usually Google's applications, Google's new applications in Wear has this, but some of them has only one tab, which makes it visible from the tab like a title bar, but it's not something you can change the pages. So yeah, this is just that, and it's super easy to use. That's the benefit actually. And we have the action drawer. So when you scroll to the bottom of the content, we have this 3 dot. Actually, it doesn't have to be 3 dot. If you have a main action, it will be the main action. But if you don't have it, a main action, it will be just a menu. So this is the reverse gesture and everything of the top drawer. It is called variable action drawer, and the usage is just using a menu.xml. So this menu.xml is one of the oldest things in Android from 1 point something versions. It was first the menu button in old phones, and then now it is used to put icons in the action bar in Android phones. On applications. Now the same thing is used to put actions here. It's super easy to use. You just put text and icon, and then you will be an ID, and you will be notified with clicks with IDs. And also, like, this is actually a standalone application. What is good about it is that it enables you to have same look and feel with a native notification. The notifications fired from watch or your phone will have the same look and same actions. that is the actual benefit. So, and as I said, it's mostly vertical now. The layout in Android Wear, it's mostly because of gestures. So before, even in the support library, there was a huge documentation. There were this multi-directional layout component that you can use. So only Google Play Music were using it, and what you could do is, like, I think, like, when I compare with this, it's really complicated actually. So when you go into it, you see your albums and or playlists. When you go vertically in the watch, you see different albums. But when you do, you can also go horizontally in any of them to see the details and such. So it's like a two-dimensional layout, which I think was very cool when you first think about it, but it's really hard to use actually in the watch. So it's impossible to use with one-handed with gestures, and it's really confusing to navigate because the screen is very limited. So yeah. And also, and also it's mostly full screen. Then you use the content scrolls vertically in the screen. So this is, for example, an example. This is the new Google Fit UI. So every page is something you scroll. This is just a vertical list, and if you go to the bottom, actually, there are also actions. So let's look at the notifications now. Here is the difference between the two actually. It's really you can see the white background here. It's really different. These are like so the icon is go there, the background, the big icon that you provide was used as a background. Now the background is your primary color, which is supposed to be dark, and then the big icon is just an icon there, big image. So if you could notice, one difference is that, you know, this text still continues here, so it gives you an perception that you should scroll. You know, this tells you that there is content more if you scroll, and you will see more content. But here it is cut here, so there's So this tells you that you have to click basically. So in Android Wear 2, every notification is only the one page. Before it was a scroll list, and then depending on the notification content, you could see more, or you could see group notifications, pages of notifications of the same item, and when you go horizontally, you were seeing the actions. Now it is only one page, nothing more. To do more, you have to click, and actually clicking and going into it is not a big deal. So having everything in the same page actually was more complicated. Now, when you go into a notification, it's really easy actually, and you can also do it with gestures. So you pull your hands down and you go into the notification to see everything. So this is a possible detail of a notification. This is, for example, this can be fired by the Gmail application, and this is possibly coming from the phone itself. This is nothing This is not something generated in the watch itself. So when you click, you see more content. You have a primary action in the bottom. So when you have, as I said, when you have pages of notifications, this page grouping support was introduced with Android Wear, and actually it is now with Android Nougat that is also available in the phones. So we now have pages of groups of notifications in the phone as well. So to see them in the Wear, you have to go to the content, go inside, and you will have pages there. Yeah. So if you have within your notification actions, if you have a primary action, it will be shown here, and the others will be here. So that's automatic. And also, like, compare this with the standalone application components they provide. This can be also a standalone application. So they look like really the same, so which is really great. What happens is that if it is just a notification content, the system just opens the notification content, but it can be related to an activity as well. So if it is fired in the watch, it can be tied to an activity. Then clicking on the notification will open an activity. It's completely new screen, but it will look like the same, but it can have much more content. Like, for example, Google Fit application had much more. So this is not the text anymore. When you have a standalone application, you can have everything, but it's good to keep the same style, like the actions here, title at the bottom, at the top, and so on. The other thing they provided is the messaging style. Actually, extended Android notification styles were introduced in Jelly Bean. We had picture style, big text style, and inbox style. When you think about inbox style and messaging style, they are really similar. Inbox style is just the lines of text. That is also really has a good support in Android Wear as well. So here we have also lines of text. But inbox style is very limited. It's just lines of text, and if you want to color the text, make something bold, like the me and Jim beginnings of every sentence. So you had to use spannables, which is actually fine, not that hard. But with inbox style, it's automatic. You just put your messages, and then you put the contact information in every message. So if you don't put anything, which is actually kind of weird API, but if you put null as a author of a message, it's the user. So it puts me, and if you put the author information of a message, it gets the name automatically and puts it. Also, one great thing about it is that you can have this reply action. This reply action is also available on Android Nougat phones now, which is really great. This is the same thing we have in Android One, like old watches actually. This is already available. But messaging style, when you tap reply, you reply with your favorite actions, or you reply with your voice or anything. But after the message sending is successful, it automatically updates the notification. So it is really like it's really dynamic, and this is something you had to handle yourself in the old day. So you had to, once the notification is successful, you had to, once the message sending is successful, you had to delete the notification and recreate it with the new message. Now it is automatic. And also, these actions, these only for messaging style, we have more actions. So if you have automated or custom replies, they will be shown just below the reply. Before you had to press reply, and then either you can speak or you can select one of the options. So in the third version of the preview SDK, they also introduced smart replies, which is kind of scares privacy concerned people actually. What does it do is that you can enable, it is disabled by default, but as a developer, you can enable it with just one method, enable smart reply or something. So it reads the content of the notification and generates smart replies just like we have in Inbox and now we have in Hello application. So that is something you can automatically have if you use messaging style in Android Bear. They say those smart replies are generated on the device offline, which is, yeah. Android Bear operating system is not open source, so it's really weird. So they say they don't send the content of the notification through network, but they read the content to generate those smart replies. But other than that, you can provide your custom messages. Those can be something pre-selected by the user in your application settings, or they can be things like that are specific to your application's context. So this is also related to standalone applications. You know, when you have a simple scenario where you optimize your notifications coming from the phone, that's really easy. You just specify Android Wear specific things, and then they are automatically displayed in Android Wear when you don't have a standalone application. But when you have a standalone application, things get complicated. In the older versions of the platform, there is nothing automatically provided. So there is a communication API between watch and phone. So what we had to do is you have to track what is going on in both devices to sync if you want to sync the states of the notification. By default, if you don't have the standalone application, everything is synced, everything works great. If you dismiss something, it is dismissed in the phone as well. If you take an action, if it is an action, it's a simple action like liking a tweet that can be done immediately. But if it is a bigger action that may want user interaction, that was opening that page in the phone. So all of these are automatic. But if you want to have a standalone application, all of these you have to do it yourself. And there was no API at all. You have to communicate in a custom way. You have to say the notification is dismissed on the watch, and phone will get that dismiss event. It will try to dismiss if it is available on the phone as well, so on and so forth. Now there are APIs that enables you to do this automatically when you do have standalone applications on the watch. So it is now much easier to write standalone applications, for example, because although it is easy, handling these notifications very hard. The third thing, the third part I would like to talk is the complications API. So I didn't know what was complications until they announced actually. Complications on watches, if we have some like analog watch lovers here, they should know. It's just anything, as far as I understand, it's just anything that is not the hour or the minutes. So even the seconds is counted as a complication. So in the complications is like the 100 years old term. It can be in traditional watches. It can be the day of the week, right? So I put some examples: chronograph, day, week of the year, and it can be some new ones have GPS, right? It can be thermometer, anything. Actually, one funny thing, this was announced at Google I/O this year, and at Google I/O they messed up with the settings. Maybe you heard online. So every room, every conference room was really complicated, and they were really full all the time. So one person had a tweet saying that they must have used complications at API to arrange the rooms. So what can we have on smartwatches now? Actually, we already have some of them right now with Android Wear 1.0. So we may have a step counter, how many steps did we take today. We can have the weather information. We can have the battery level information. We can have the nearest Pokemon around you. Such things. It's endless. So here's a simple example. This is the default watch face that is shipped with Android Wear 2. So here is the number of emails you have, number of steps, and that is the activity in Google Fit. So, as you can imagine, Complications API has two parts. One is the data providers, the applications provide the data, and the other part is the watch faces. So, as I said, in the current implementations, we already have a lot of watch face that shows this data. But what they do is they use the Google Fit API to get the steps manually. They monitor the battery state to show the battery. They do API calls to get the weather information. That's a lot of manual work. Now it is automatic. So it's not even complicated. And what is good about it is that data providers and the watch face doesn't even talk to each other. They don't have to do it at the same time. The Android Wear platform itself asks about data. It stores the data inside and then just gives the watch face. And it also caches the data if it has to, such things, and to make it really simple. So these are the examples of the possible complications. It's actually very limited. It's actually very limited, which is actually good. In Android, usually we don't have limitations much, but this is something maybe we should have limitations, because when you have a complication, it should be really easy to visible on every kind of watch face, right? So these are potentially be displayed in every kind of design, every kind of background of watch face or anything. So the first one is short text, which says short text, but can have a small icon as well. So it is just a couple of letters. It can have two-line. So the API has usually long text, long title, short text, short title. In this case, I guess 26 is the title and the equal is the text. Or you can have icon and title. It arranges it automatically. Actually, it is this arrangement. They provide a default, but this arrangement is also a responsibility of the watch face. So in that case, there are mandatory fields for a complication. So for short text, for example, short text is of course mandatory to provide, but the others are optional. You can provide or not, but it's also watch face's choice to display them. So even though this provides the Gmail icon, watch face doesn't have to display them. It depends on the watch face. So, and the style is of course as well. The second one is just an icon. It can be used to show a state, or it can be used to start an action. For example, in this case, it means that I want to start cycling, and it will start tracking your cycling. The third one is range. Of course, in this case, minimum and maximum values of the range are mandatory fields, and it can be displayed like this. So it can be like the percentage of the battery that you can easily provide. This is the long text. This probably will be used less times because it's really big. So this can have almost everything. This is the image, which the others doesn't have. You can have an icon or an image or a big title, also the short title. You can provide all the things, but the long text is the only one that is mandatory. So these are also optional. The next one is the small image, which can be an image or an icon. This has only these two fields. So yeah, it can be in a chat application. It can be when we have an e-message. It can be the picture of the sender. Yeah, those kind of things. So the last one is the large image, which is only used for background, which is also really cool because I remember last year at now 1.5 years ago at Google I/O 2015, this Roman Nurik guy working at Google was released a really nice blog post. He is the creator of the Musée wallpaper application. So he has the wallpaper application. That wallpaper application is also has a standalone watch application as well. So, but he had another watch face application. So he was providing the wallpaper on the phone to that watch face. So basically this. But he had this crazy communication between three applications, actually four applications. The blog post is awesome because it shows the power of Android. Basically, four applications that are in the phone and the watch can talk to each other. But it was really complicated. It's a nice technology, but I don't know if it is implemented too much. So now it's just a provider. Couple of applications, many applications can provide background, and then watch face can show that background. So these are the possible places that you can, as you can see, it doesn't even have to be circle. It is the watch face's choice to display whatever way they want, and also it can be user's choice to display how many, display where. You know, if you display small ones, you can put 4 of them. those kind of things. So for the default watch face, for example, you could put 4 of them and the background, so you can set 5 complications, for example, in watch faces settings. So it doesn't even have to be a setting, so it's all flexible, and that's what is great about it, I think. Okay. So this was it. Thank you for listening. This is the link to the slides. If you have questions, I will be glad to answer. Any questions? No? Okay.
Is there a difference between Android Wear 1 and 2 and working with iOS?
Yeah, actually, nice question that I can cover in the slides in the future. So before, the support was really limited. So the way to have standalone applications in the watch was to embed that application into your APK. So Android system was installing that APK to the watch through your phone. So this is of course something that is not available in iOS because there's no APK and so on. So now with the Play Store application in the watch, you know, you can install applications directly in the watch. And also when you install, like this is something you couldn't do in iPhone, but now you can do, but also through Bluetooth tethering, these standalone applications can also have internet even though you have an iPhone. So it's the usability is much improved. Before you get only SMSs and some applications doing this custom integration. Yeah.
So now I have standalone applications on my watch,
yeah.
And in my watch we get only internet from my phone,
yeah.
And that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if they do some custom interaction with the Android application, so that custom interaction is easy to do in Android. So if they do something like that, it will maybe not available for iPhone. But if they just do network connection, if the watch application really works standalone, it will work with iPhone.
Sorry, just one thing. So on other systems like the Tickler, you can allow permissions. So for example, from the iOS and how it's app or something, right? But Apple's still kind of weird about permissions like messages or something. So do you know if Android will have permission to kind of reply? I know it can receive, but can it also reply? At least Tickler can. And Tickler is
Yeah. From iPhone, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, I don't really know how does it work with iPhone, but yeah. But permission wise, now we have actually now if you have to if you want a standalone application, that's also something new. The runtime permissions are mandatory. So yeah. But how does it work with iPhone? So, any other questions? I guess everybody is looking forward to lunch. Yes. Okay. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, not just about Android Wear or anything, I am available at Twitter mostly. Thank you for listening. Have a nice conference.